Yo, we're just jumping straight into this one. I shaved my head. My hairline was just getting pushed far too far back, and in order for me to not look ridiculous when I go out to the grocery store and stuff, I always have to like shower. I know, right? I'd have to fucking shower. No, but like I had to do too much with it, man, just to make it not look fucking weird. So I just, man, fuck it. Psh. I used to shave my head all the time. It's just, uh, for some reason I stopped. To get like a last ditch effort into doing something with my hair before I started to lose it all. And I kind of like it. But who gives a shit, right? Who gives a fucking shit about that? Cum Town, Nick's Cellphone Kiosk Story. Somebody recommended me this. I don't know their name or anything like that. I appreciate you. We're going to watch this, and we're going to maybe laugh, and I'm going to give my insightful, deep commentary.
Yeah. No, there was this. I remember I used to work at this like cell phone kiosk, and with these like two Persian brothers. And like the older brother like had worked his way up at Radio Shack or whatever and got really good at selling phones at kiosks, and that was like his like business or whatever.
Right.
And the younger brother was just in it since he was like 11 because the older brother like brought him.
Of course,
in on it.
yeah.
And I was like friends. I was friends with both of them, but the younger brother was like closer to my age. He was probably like 3 years younger than me. But like all he did was sell shit. You know?
Right.
Almost like a stereotype where he's like a Persian.
Yeah. Hey, my friend.
By the way, the guy in this picture in the video doesn't look Persian. He looks more Indian. So.
Yeah. So, me and him would just rip people off. We worked at kind of like a shittier mall or whatever.
Right.
Most
what
of the
the
people
fuck?
that came in, like I learned occupational Spanish just to fucking sell legal immigrants like $900 Nextel phones that they didn't need or whatever. Like, hey, tienes celular? And then be like, no social needed, and then just fucking sign them up for like the most expensive plan or whatever. And
Damn.
yeah, me
that's
and him
fucked
had like
up,
a
bro.
contest one time to see who like could rip people off the most with like like these like somebody used to sell ringtones back when you could only put like 5 ringtones on your phone.
Yeah.
And so
I remember whenever cell phones first came out with anybody remember those ringtone commercials? You'd be watching cartoons or whatever the fuck you were watching at that age, if you were even alive. And there'd be a commercial that comes on, and the commercial would play like a few different samples of music. And it would say, if you want this ringtone, text blah, blah, blah to this number. And then it costs like $1 or something like that. And then you get that rate. That's how you got new ringtones. I had the System of a Down song Sugar ringtone. And then whenever I bought it, I was very disappointed because the cell phone can only handle like certain sounds. I think 8-bit or 16-bit, 32-bit. It couldn't play actual recordings of a song. It had to play like the computerized digital version of it in 8-bit. So certain notes sounded very weird on certain ringtones because it couldn't mimic it properly, and it sounded very whack, and I was very disappointed with that $1.50 or whatever the fuck I put on my mom's phone bill.
we're selling them for like 20 a piece, 30 a piece sometimes. Just
Ringtones?
Yeah. Because we were really good at sales.
Jesus.
We'd like talk people into it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, man, it's like, we really, we got to offset the cost of all this equipment. That's the problem. This laptop is like $8,000. Like just lying.
What?
Or whatever.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
we
The
almost
idea that a ringtone could
But
cost-
like, did you keep the money or what was
Well,
that?
we got commission on it. So
Yeah.
it was like, like a probably with ringtones, because there was zero overhead. It was like, the store gets fucking 15%, and then, we keep, whatever. We got like, made a shit ton of money off.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But so this was like, I was probably 18 at the time. And there had been different iterations of like these kiosks that I had known these brothers through. And we were working at one. It was a different company. It was a little bit more professional. Because like the one I met those guys at, there was no, we'd lie to people. I'd show up drunk all the time.
Right.
We had like a monitor on the screen that we were just using to bully the Pakistani guy that worked there. Put a picture of him on the screen. It was like, guess how old this man is, and because he like looked like shit even though he was 21. And people are like, 50. He's 50 years old. And we're like, nope. And he'd be like, the Pakistani guy would get all upset.
That's hilarious.
Sulk in the corner. Anyhow, so like it was, one of the you both phone guys now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to book the show.
All right. I don't know why I've been telling this story so long.
No, I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm just.
I'm
trying
listening.
Yeah, no, I'm serious because there's very little payoff here. This started on the topic of like, when you see somebody.
I'm kind of still waiting for the payoff, but that's what I'm here for. To listen to this motherfucker just ramble.
Bully somebody.
Right.
Yeah. Funny. Okay, so here's the story. So we're working at like this other kiosk or whatever, and this woman came in. And she was like a return customer, like somebody had already signed her up for shit, and she was coming back with a customer service issue, which like we don't see any money from. It's
Right.
just
Right.
our fucking
Yeah.
time
Right.
and commission. So like nobody really wants to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
We, like hate these people. And she was like 50, and she had her like adult retarded son with her.
Hell
like,
yes.
This like weird guy with this like weird like bird face and like
What
like,
the
weird
fuck?
posture. Just like in his pants, but he dressed like Adam, but like not ironically.
Right. He's getting Kirkland signatures for real.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
So
He's wearing the jean pants, except they don't have a button. They have like the stretchy elastic waistband, so you put them on like sweats, but they're jeans. And the Velcro shoes instead of shoelaces, it's Velcro straps. That's what I would wear if I was dumb. Or
and she's there with him, and she
Old
just
or
looks
something.
fucking worn out, and like she probably got ripped off by somebody. She
Right,
signed up
of
for
course.
a fucking Sprint phone, then her first bill is like literally $1,000 because the fucking cell phone companies used to just do that to people back in 2006 or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah,
And
dude. I keep pausing a lot, but whatever. I want to ramble. I want to ramble along with this dude. I had Sprint back in the day when I was in the military. Because I had a BlackBerry through Sprint. That was like my first non-flip phone that I got. Was able to afford on my own. I was on my own plan. I was like an adult making my own money. I was in the Navy and shit like that. And I had but we had barracks rooms, and I wanted to fucking play computer games and shit like that, and Xbox Live and whatnot. But you needed your own internet. The fucking barracks didn't have Wi-Fi or anything like that. So Sprint offered like this little USB drive thingy that you stick at the end of your computer, your laptop, that would get phone signal and turn the phone signal into internet. Well, they had this plan that said like you pay this much and you get like a free unlimited data. That's what the guy told me at the store. So I said, hell yeah. And I started using it a lot. And then next thing you know, like about a year or so later, I get all these missed calls that I thought was a scammer trying to get money from me, saying like, yeah, we are from Sprint. We're trying to collect a bill that you owe for this much money on your internet service. I'm like, what the fuck is this about? I called to fuck, this is so terrible that I'm like wasting your guys' time with this shit. This is a very bad story that I'm telling. It's being told very badly. After the bill got racked up to like a couple $1,000s, I finally like called the person to see, and it was a legit person from Sprint saying like, yeah, you owe us a bunch of money for the internet USB drive thing you've been using. I'm like, the guy at the store told me it was unlimited data. And they're like, oh, no, that's only if you use the 4G. Because, dude, 4G was like at that time kind of a rare thing to be in certain, it was only in certain areas. And I was like, well, he didn't tell me that. He didn't tell me that it was only unlimited if I use 4G. So I was like racking up this huge bill using all this data that I was paying for. They eventually, after, a back and forth on the phone, they thankfully dropped the charges because I convinced them like the guy at the store was a fucking piece of shit that didn't tell me this. He told me it was unlimited. And maybe they gave me some leeway because I was in the service. But right after that conversation, I'm like, yeah, I don't appreciate this, so I'm canceling my phone service too with you guys. Sprint, fuck Sprint. That was a terrible story. A lot of you probably stopped watching now. Fuck it.
And she's there with this, her retarded son that just like, she's like, he would quietly say to her like, I want to go to the game store, like,
yeah.
He just really wanted to go to GameStop and like, just look confused. And she's like, we'll go after this. I have to take care of this or whatever. And so the younger brother was like helping them or whatever. He's like, nah, see, that's part of the plan that's in the contract or whatever. And he's like clearly like losing his patience with this. But I'm watching this and this woman's like strung out and she's like, I just don't have the money to pay for the, whatever.
Right.
And then I'm like constructing this story in my head for this woman and her like poor son and like she's like, you want to have a kid and then you have a kid and then it comes out disabled and that's gonna be a fucking disappointment. But then it gets to a certain point where like she's up at night like, why isn't he dead yet? And it's like, don't think that, like just the thought of like having a 37-year-old
Jesus Christ,
disabled son you have to take care of. And I'm like almost at the point of like I'm almost about to cry. Like watching this woman, and I was like, it was like near the holidays too.
Yeah, of course.
It's just like really sad.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, it was like really fucking sad witnessing that, and then eventually like they leave or whatever, and the younger brother or whatever, I'm like watching them walk away, and I'm like really sad, and he's like, he just looks at me, he's like, yo, that dude was a fucking loser. That fucking guy, dude, he's a fucking loser.
That's what he calls retarded people. Oh my god.
He's retarded.
He just wants to fucking
And I laughed so hard.
That is so funny.
It's so funny. Yo, that guy's a fucking loser.
Like, just completely read that situation. That's your reading of that situation.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like, makes him a good... Yeah.
No empathy. And
Zero.
It just completely took me out of it. Me and him used to bully the fuck out of people. There was this Indian guy that had a store, like a kiosk right next to ours. And ours was enclosed. But we would go outside of it to like, nab people.
Bark
like,
people,
hey man, what'd you
yeah.
get? Like, let me see what kind of phone you have, and talk to them because we have to make sales.
Right.
And he had a purse store called Lucky Bags.
Hell yeah.
There's this Indian guy that had this big fat Indian wife, and he would complain to mall management because we would bark at people in the direction of his kiosk or whatever. And he'd be like, they are stealing my customers. And it's like, it's completely different
you
businesses.
sell purses.
Yeah, you fucking idiot or whatever. And so he would like constantly, him and the wife would be like, do not talk to people in the direction of our store, or whatever. And the wife would like, she had this weird posture where she'd keep her back straight and put her like, arms behind it, clasp her arms behind her back and like sort of patrol the store. Yeah. And so I would like, make eye contact with her and then just jerk straight and like mimic her posture and just do an impression of her to her face and just hide on the other. No, I
shitty
just
teenager.
fucking mean, dude.
Yeah.
We used to bully the shit out of that guy. I like called up the mall management one time and I was like, this is LB from Lucky Bags. Santa is stealing my customers. And like demanded that they kick Santa out of the mall as him. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll look into that.
Did they believe that it was him?
No, but they probably heard from him so fucking much.
Right.
They thought it was funny.
That's fucking
It's good to bully
dude.
folks like that.
Fucking A, dude. I feel like that one was more me talking. No, whatever. Nobody gives a shit anyway. Fuck it.